Welcome to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas. As we get ready for the new school year, I'm here at Grand Canyon University. As last year taught us, students, educators, and parents need to be ready to adapt and evolve for success. Last school year taught us that we as humans can adapt to change and become resilient during the process. It also showed the brave actions of men and women who heroically took the challenge during the global pandemic, from our first responders and educators to students. So as society moves forward with the uncertainty of what's to come with the physical reopening of schools, we'll keep a positive mindset and accept the challenge. And as a beacon of the community who loves to take on challenges, there's Grand Canyon University, whose mission is to educate so they can lead and serve others through Christian-based heritage and a community focus. Let's take a look.
GCU was formerly teaching and nursing college, and since then we've expanded to 9 different colleges, over 200 programs. Right at present, we have about 20,000 on-ground students, and we have 90,000 students online. We have a very special community. The students make it that way, as do all of the people who work here. Everyone has a heart to serve. We're here to serve, and through our Christian values, the combination, it works. The Learning Lounge started in 2013, and ironically, we just started out to support algebra students. We started out in a strip mall. We did it in collaboration with Alhambra High School. Their students needed some help with algebra, and that's how it started. And since then, it's evolved to services for K-12 students. We have an on-site location here on campus, and then we also have an on-site location in the heart of Maryvale in collaboration with the Milwaukee Brewers. We just kind of start where they are. Students that work for us, we have 35 student workers, but we also have a lot of students across the university who come in here to volunteer. Most important is just knowing how to relate with kids. We focus on language, so if they're bilingual, even better. We have a huge demographic of bilingual students or even just Spanish-speaking students, so we need to have the ability to communicate with them as well. Cox Connect2Compete is something that we've been talking to our students about. Many of our patrons were excited to hear about it and have definitely taken advantage of that opportunity. I think it was especially helpful throughout the pandemic as we were becoming so reliant on virtual interaction with students, and families were becoming so reliant on virtual access to schools and us. So it's definitely been very helpful for our students. Well, I just have a background in education. I've had a front row seat on families and students and what they need and the struggles they have and what helps them be successful. And we all know that if a parent is successful and if a parent feels empowered or a parent gets what they need, then so do children. And we want to do everything we can to ensure that families get what they need so that we have successful students who go on to attend college or find their way into a career that makes them happy and productive.
At GCU, faith remains as its cornerstone and invites students to grow spiritually, as academic integrity is also at the heart of the values. GCU's mission is to help students develop practices that support and embrace integrity as a personal, lifelong commitment. To learn more about Grand Canyon University, go to gcu.edu. I'll be right back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. We're here at Grand Canyon University preparing for the new school year, and we're inside of the Jerry Colangelo Museum on campus, where it's filled with some awesome sports memorabilia. As we continue to see improvements through the coronavirus pandemic, we'll also continue to work through our education community by honoring guidelines and modifying classroom recommendations. As most schools fully reopen in person, remote learning is still a potential option in most districts. So whether in person or remote learning, the goal of educators is that each student is ensured that the quality of the education setting is not compromised. Check out a government program helping the community stay digitally connected through the Emergency Broadband Benefit initiative.
Back in December of last year, when Congress was adopting a variety of relief measures to help Americans that were impacted by COVID, one of those programs was the Emergency Broadband Benefit program. And what that was designed to do was to help families who either lost a job or were furloughed or were already on some kind of government assistance program and were having a hard time paying for their internet bill. So in May of this year, the program went into effect, and it enabled Americans who needed the help to be able to get a discount on their monthly internet service.
School Connect is a nonprofit that helps schools build a village of support around them. And when COVID-19 hit, the digital divide became highlighted. So that was need for internet, for computers, and with tech support so that people knew how to use the computers to be able to do all that they were doing. And so when COVID-19 hit, School Connect became a member of the Arizona Broadband Network Task Force, because that whole task force, including Cox, including some of the key partners in the state, the Commerce Authority, the Department of Education, we all wanted to work together to try to solve the problems that education was experiencing. And since School Connect was involved in that process, we wanted to look for the gaps in the digital divide and really help those to get accomplished, to get them fulfilled. $3.2 billion that will be given out for the EBB program, but it's a temporary program. So whoever uses up that money, and when the money is over, then that ends. And so by providing, with the EBB program, providing internet and computers, it made a world of difference for that child to be able to get all of their schoolwork done.
Cox Communications has had literally over a decade of experience of providing a program and a benefit for the families in our community who have kids in the K through 12 education system but need a little help with their internet connection. Low-income families that have the need because kids are in school and need to be able to learn and do homework but didn't have the means to have the internet. So we partnered and put forward this program called Connect2Compete, which enables families to get a $9.95 per month internet service. We've literally enrolled tens of thousands of families in this program here in Arizona, and it has enabled those kids not only to be part of their normal traditional education, but again, over the past year and a half, be able to continue to learn remotely even when they weren't allowed to be in their school. It really is investing in those families, those kids, to make sure that they don't fall behind in school, because the statistics show that kids that don't have internet in the home, they don't perform as well at school, they don't attend school as regularly, and their prospects for their future are not nearly as good as their colleagues, only difference being a lack of a digital connection.
And all those resources are right on the connect-arizona.com website.
We headed over to Las Vegas to join Cox Communications for their annual Cox Back to School virtual fair. Let's take a look.
Cox Communications and CCSD has been partnered for 14 years. They have provided our back-to-school fairs at each of the 4 malls. Every August before school would start, we would have a back-to-school fair at each of the malls to reach every parent across the valley. At the back-to-school fairs, CCSD departments would provide information to help their parents prepare their students for the beginning of the school year. The pandemic was a concern for all of us, and so we were trying to figure out ways, how do we deliver this information to parents so that we can continue to provide those resources so that parents can have their students ready for school on time and be prepared. So having it virtually actually allows us to reach more parents, especially in our rural areas.
We came up with a solution to launch our first ever all virtual fair last summer. Not even a pandemic would stop us. We quickly stood up a virtual platform so we could continue to reach the Southern Nevada community, and it was so successful. We've built upon it again this year to host another all virtual event that runs June through August. Even more bells and whistles and engaging features this time. We've got a highly interactive platform where our Southern Nevada organizations host virtual information booths, and users can email resources to themselves and even leave a message for the organization through that virtual booth. And I think the crowd favorite part about our virtual back to school fair is the prizes. We're offering Enter to Win contests where our virtual visitors and users can visit the site daily and fill out the registration form. Now through August 31st, you can enter to win a MacBook Pro laptop and several other really cool smart prizes. And again, you can enter to win every day.
Every year, Cox has invited us to participate in the back to school fairs as a vendor to provide vaccines and resources about the importance of vaccines. They've also graciously covered the costs for vaccines and logistical setup so that we're able to provide these valuable resources at the fairs, especially for those without insurance or lack access to vaccines. With school starting back in person this fall, it's extra important for us to ensure that our kids are vaccinated this upcoming school year. This year, in comparison to other years, although Cox is hosting another virtual back-to-school fair, Cox has prioritized vaccines and allowed us to host a vaccination clinic for the community. If your child is getting vaccinated at the back-to-school clinic and you haven't received your COVID vaccine yet, definitely come out to get your vaccine. Those COVID vaccines are being offered for anyone 12 years and older. We really appreciate all that Cox has been doing, including covering costs and setting these clinics up to ensure that all kiddos have access to vaccines prior to the start of school.
The annual Cox Back to School Fair is the longest running, most visible school readiness event in Southern Nevada. The highly interactive virtual platform can be found at coxbacktoschoolfair.com. What a great way of doing more. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Doing More, where we shine a light on the good things happening in our communities. We're here at Grand Canyon University preparing for the new school year. Throughout its rich history, GCU has remained a vibrant Christian university that's committed to distinctively Christian beliefs, values, and practices in accord with its mission and vision. CalHOPE is an organization providing emotional support and providing safe and secure services to all Californians who may be needing support relating to COVID-19.
CalHOPE is a state-funded program through FEMA that provides emotional support to all Californians due to the emotional distress that our communities have seen as a result of COVID. Some of the adversities that our communities have faced include job loss, as well as dealing with anxiety, depression, the fear of contracting COVID, and also just the loss of how our lives used to be. And so through this program, CalHOPE aims to be a support for our communities. When individuals reach out to us looking for help, our crisis counselors take initiative to see what their needs are. We try to connect them to the appropriate resources that exist throughout the counties here in California so that they're able to live their lives as normal as possible and so that they can persevere.
Hey guys, I was wondering if I could give you a flyer. We're a program called CalHOPE.
One of the most important elements for us here at CalHOPE is that we're meeting our communities where they're at. We go out to the community. We go to barbershops, coffee shops, we go to restaurants, and we're able to provide them with information. But you can scan the QR code. Oh, that's great. One of the things that we have done quite a lot and that it has definitely helped our communities is providing our community members with resource sheets. We have a lot of QR codes that people are able to scan, and that links them to even more resources. CalHOPE is also able to provide individuals and community members with an online option to talk to crisis counselors. That is where CalHOPE Connect comes in. You're able to go onto CalHOPEConnect.org and you can talk to a crisis counselor. In doing so, you can talk to them pretty much about anything that you might be feeling as a result of this pandemic. And if you're looking for resources as well, our crisis counselors are able to link you to the appropriate resources based on where you are in California.
Hi, this is Brenda with CalHOPE. How can I assist you today?
We also have the Warm Line. So CalHOPE's Warm Line is a way for community members to connect if they want to talk to someone over the phone.
We are available 24/7.
When they call our number, they are able to connect to a crisis counselor that has had that experience of dealing with such heightened emotions such as anxiety, depression. And our crisis counselors are able to talk them through the things that they need to talk through. We do this in a non-clinical capacity. We do this in a more of a peer-to-peer basis. And in doing so, people are reassured that they have someone that is willing to listen to them. Many times that's all we need. For more information, people can go on calhope.org, and there you will find a wide variety of resources to address all the needs that you may have. There's no shame in asking for help, especially under these unprecedented times in which our world has changed quite a lot. So try not to hesitate and, ask for help, ask for what you need, because we're here for you.
We took a trip to Oceanside, California to visit an organization that brings post-9/11 combat veterans together with trained rescue dogs, helping them both recover and saving 2 lives at a time.
Shelter to Soldier selects dogs from shelters and rescue groups all throughout California. Our ideal candidate at Shelter to Soldier is 8 months to a year and a half old. They're confident in different environments, they have strong social drive, another motivator like food or toy drive, and ultimately these are dogs that want to have a job and that have a greater purpose to become a service dog. Our program and mission is focused on post-9/11 combat veterans that are suffering with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, and other surrounding diagnosis. We're receiving applications from veterans, whether they're referred from friend or family member, they're referred by the VA system, or possibly a private therapist or social worker. The goal is to make sure that whether they qualify for the program or not, we're answering the call, we're providing resources, and if they do qualify, moving them through the process in the program to eventually get them matched with a service dog. Each dog in the program goes through hundreds of hours of training. This includes obedience training, public access hours, specific task work, as well as environmental desensitization, socialization, and prepping for their final exams. But once we have an approved applicant, they become a part of the Shelter to Soldier Service Dog Training Program. We have dogs that are at different stages of training in the program, and the dogs that are with us about 6 to 9 months long are ready to start meeting and matching. So we go through what we call speed dating. Approved applicants meet approved dogs. They get to hang out and spend some time together. And we're looking for an organic fit, also a fit that really makes sense to the lifestyle of both the canine and the human. Our team of professionals sits in on these speed dating outings, and we make sure that the dog is choosing the veteran's choosing the dog. But as professionals, we need to also look at the needs of the veteran, the lifestyle, what their home is like, what their day in a life is like, to make sure that ultimately we're the matchmakers making that final call. So once a veteran is paired and matched with a dog, they're going through an average of 6 to 9 months of handler training. This is covering everything from service dog rules and laws, animal care, foundational handling, and making sure that the team works really well together all the way through their final testing and graduation. We're fortunate to have a process where a large majority, currently about 85% of our dogs, pass their service dog training. But if they don't pass, they become a career change. We don't like to use the word failure around here. So career change to an emotional support animal, or if that doesn't work out, then they career change to a pet dog, still finding a loving placement and purpose in life.
You can learn more about Shelter to Soldier by heading over to sheltertosoldier.org. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Doing More. We're here inside of Grand Canyon University's prayer chapel, sharing on back to school. Our final stop was in El Cajon, California, where we visited a car dealership that not only sells cars, but also shares love and hope through a musical.
Hey, Master Debbie, take one. Action.
Love is for sharing, hate is for staring, there is no comparing the two.
My husband and I were sitting at home on the couch a couple months ago, and he works for the Old Globe Theater, and he's been telling me about all the actors and actresses and directors and producers that are out of work. He's like, "You're smart. Why don't you do a musical?" Well, I thought about it overnight, and I said, why the heck not? So I took it to my boss, and he goes, why the heck not? Because part of Subaru's mission is to help others inside our community. And we help lots of folks, Make-A-Wish and Feeding San Diego. And in this case, we thought, why not help all the artists and artisans in San Diego put a musical on?
At Old Town we can take in history. I think William lives there.
The overriding theme of the musical is joy and happiness and coming together during a time of strife or trouble. The musical takes place right now, real time. And it's 3 roommates that sat on the couch, played too many video games, sat on the couch, played more video games, and decided they had to get out of the house, so they all decided to go on a road trip together to San Diego.
action!
I was approached by Matt Morrow, who's the artistic director of Diversionary Theater, and he introduced me to Randall, who then told me about this wild idea and brought me on board.
1, 6, 7, and love is contagious. Great.
I think some of the challenges are just coordinating everyone's schedules. There's so many people involved and everyone's doing so many things. I think that's one of the challenges. And then also just like sort of getting back on our feet after so long in COVID without doing a lot of this work. And so sort of getting our bearings again.
Can I take 3?
Let's go enjoy. It's full of koi here.
I think Randall and I started speaking towards the end of March, so a very short time frame. I mean, I would say for a project of this size, we've been doing it very, very quickly, and we continue to do that. So it's quick, fast, and furious, but the quality is quite high.
I wrote the lyrics and the screenplay for today's shoot. It wasn't a complicated affair, but I was given one line of what the whole thing needed to be, and then from there we just came up with the whole story, and we did it all in basically 3 weeks. So it was quite challenging, but it was extremely rewarding.
Here, 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 but please no.
I'm playing Doug, who works here at Subaru of El Cajon, so I'm going to hook him up with a car. Welcome to Subaru of El Cajon. So this is super fun. I mean, especially during a time when not a lot of stuff has been happening. It's really exciting to be doing something creative and artistic.
When he says buckle up, it's like, oh, what's next?
And also something that helps promote sharing love in the world and bringing some positivity. Love is for sharing. It's super duper fun, and I'm really excited to be here. And I can't believe it's raining a little bit, but it's clearing up. So it's San Diego, the sun will come out.
I want to thank Grand Canyon University for their hospitality and for helping us prepare for back to school. Whether students receive their education through distance learning or in-person learning this school year, let's ensure as a community that every student is receiving all the wraparound support they need to flourish in school. Likewise, let us not forget about our frontline educators who deserve patience and respect. And as a community, let's engage and help build back from the pandemic through the power of relationships with our educators. Most importantly, let us make sure we spend some quality time, talk, laugh, ask questions, and support each other throughout the year. So let this school year be the start of something new and great. I'm Erica Cardenas. Thanks so much for joining me, and go Lopes!